Hello students, welcome back to our video sessions on Class 8 Biology. We are going to learn Chapter 8, Health and Hygiene. This chapter is about health and disease. Then we will also learn vaccination and immunization and some unhealthy habits that could lead us to ill health and first aid. So let us move on. Look at some of the people that are here in the pictures. Do you think each and every one of them is healthy? Can you identify the unhealthy person? Just by the external appearance, can you say that the person is healthy or not? These questions can be answered only by a proper definition for health. What is health? The World Health Organization has defined health. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. Infirmity is physical weakness. So, to consider a person healthy, a person needs to be physically fit, mentally healthy, and also there must be social well being. And just because there is no disease, you can't say the person is healthy. We are going to see in detail the broad meaning of the term health. Physical well-being is the ability to perform physical activities and carry out roles that are not hindered by experiences of body pain. Mental well being is not just the absence of mental disorder, it is a state of well being where an individual can cope with normal stress of life and can work productively and fruitfully and can also contribute to the society. It includes a state of happiness and satisfaction. Then, what is social well being? The ability to communicate, develop meaningful relationship with others, and maintain a network is called social well being. Skills like gratitude, kindness, communication will help us develop our social well being. Thus, being healthy includes three spheres, that is, physical, mental, and social well being. So, if this is the definition of health, then what is disease? A person is said to suffer from disease when the normal structure or function of the body is weakened or it is harmed and it is not working properly. Any physical or functional change in the body which causes discomfort and disability affects the health of a person, and this condition is called disease. Therefore, disease is an illness or a sickness which will not keep us at ease. So, it is dis-ease. So, please understand, students, the difference between being healthy and being disease free. If a person is healthy, a person is energetic and disease free, but if a person is disease free, he may necessarily not be healthy or energetic. He is disease free, but his mental state and social well being may not be proper. Diseases are of two types. There are communicable diseases and there are non communicable diseases. What are communicable diseases? The diseases that can be passed on from one infected person to another healthy person through contact, air, water, food, or other organisms are called communicable diseases. These diseases are also called infectious diseases. Infectious diseases are caused by microorganisms such as bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoa, or worms. The microorganisms that cause these diseases are called pathogens. We simply call them germs. So, therefore, disease causing organisms are called pathogens. Some common communicable diseases are influenza, measles, malaria, dengue, chikungunya, and the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome or the AIDS. Let us look at some communicable diseases, their causative agents, the mode of transmission, symptoms, and the methods of prevention. Influenza is a communicable disease which is caused by myxoviruses. They are a group of viruses. The mode of transmission of influenza is by droplets. an infected person starts coughing, sneezing, or spitting, the droplets will spread, and that is how influenza spreads. The symptoms of this disease are fever with headache, sore throat, muscular pain, coughing, and sneezing. We can prevent this disease by keeping away or staying far away from an infected person. The infected person has to cover the mouth and nose while coughing or sneezing. Measles is another infectious disease. It is caused by a group of viruses called paramyxovirus. The mode of transmission here also is by droplets. When the infected person coughs, sneezes, or spits, the droplets will carry the infection to another healthy person. The symptoms of measles are a sore throat, runny nose, watery eyes, dry cough with fever. There are also whitish spots which appear on the inner walls of the cheek, and there are also red rashes. They appear first in the neck region, and then these rashes are seen on the whole body. Within a week, the rashes will fade and they leave brown colored spots. Prevention of measles is by vaccination. MMR is the vaccine given to a child at the age of 9 months and at the age of 15 months. Vaccination can thus prevent a person from getting measles. If the person is infected, the person has to be kept in isolation for 10 to 12 days so that the person will not spread the infection to another healthy person. Malaria is an infectious disease caused by Plasmodium. Plasmodium is the causative agent of malaria. It is spread through the bite of an infected Anopheles mosquito. The symptoms of malaria are different phases of chills and high fever repeatedly in a day or in 3 to 4 days. The parasite multiplies in the red blood cells and it destroys the red blood cells. There is also vomiting, severe headache, and the fever subsides with profuse sweating. Malaria can be prevented by stopping or preventing mosquito breeding and by spreading insecticides and oil over stagnant water. We should actually avoid stagnant water. Then mosquito net can be used while sleeping, or a mosquito repellent cream or an ointment can be used to avoid mosquitoes. And after infection, we can take anti-malarial drugs such as chloroquine, which will help in recovering from malaria. Prevention is by avoiding mosquitoes, and after getting malaria, the treatment is by taking anti-malarial drugs such as chloroquine. Dengue is an infectious disease caused by Barbovirus. It is through the bite of an infected Aedes mosquito. The symptoms of dengue are high fever with severe muscle and joint pain, and there is also pain behind the eyes. There is nausea and vomiting. Red colored rash appears over the skin from the 4th day to the 6th day of infection. The platelet count goes down considerably as low as 20,000. There is also bleeding from the gums, nose, and there is bruising. Dengue can be prevented by preventing mosquito breeding. Water should not be left to stagnate in pots or bottles or anywhere in the open. We should be wearing a full-sleeved shirt and socks to prevent mosquito bite. We can also use mosquito repellents, and then in case you are infected, you can have a liquid diet with fluids, enough fluids such as coconut water, etc., and take medicines to relieve the symptoms. Chikungunya is caused by alpha virus. It is spread through the bite of an infected Aedes mosquito. The symptoms of chikungunya are high fever with severe pain in the muscles and in the joints. The joint pain is often very severe and it lasts from weeks to months. There is also headache, nausea, fatigue, that means tiredness, and there is also some rash on the skin. The symptoms are somewhat similar to the symptoms of dengue, and it is often confused with dengue. The preventive measures are again the same preventive measures that we take for dengue, because the causative agent for chikungunya and dengue is the same. It is the mosquito. So mosquito control is essential here also. The next type of infectious disease is the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or the AIDS. It is caused by a virus which is called human immunodeficiency virus. The mode of transmission is by exposure to infected blood. A person can get exposed to infected blood when an unclean needle is used, or when there is a cut or a wound. Then another mode of transmission is by sexual contact. And then it can also happen through organ transplant, that is, an organ from an infected person, if it is transplanted to a healthy person, HIV can spread. And this disease can spread even through blood transfusion. That is, transferring blood from one person to another person is blood transfusion. If healthy blood is not transferred, then it leads to HIV transmission. HIV can also spread from mother to a child during pregnancy and during childbirth. When a person is infected with HIV, the immune system breaks down. So since the body cannot fight against infection, there is severe weight loss and the person feels fatigue and tiredness. There is persistent dry cough, there is oral rash, and there is also shortness of breath. Headaches appear, there is visual disturbance, there are gastric problems like regular diarrhea. Lung diseases like pneumonia also start affecting the person. There is damage to the brain leading to memory loss. All this is because of the breakdown of immune system, and the person becomes susceptible to various infections. How to prevent HIV infection and AIDS? Blood should be screened for any infectious agents before transfusion. We should avoid sharing and reuse of blades, needles, and syringes and surgical instruments. Pregnancy of the mother should be avoided in case the mother is HIV positive, and safe sex should be practiced. Flu is a common viral infection which can affect the cells of the upper respiratory system, such as the trachea. There are many kinds of flus which is caused by a virus. Another example is the swine flu, which is caused by one of the several types of swine influenza viruses. It is also called H1N1 flu because it is caused by the H1N1 virus. This virus infects cells deep in the lungs where it can cause pneumonia, and in severe cases it can also lead to death. As compared to the other seasonal flu viruses which infect only the upper respiratory system, this swine flu virus, it goes deep into the lungs, and thus it is a serious disease. Now in all these diseases that we have studied, we have seen the causative agent and we have also studied the mode of transmission. The causative agent is the microorganism which is responsible for the disease. It is also called the pathogen. These pathogens are carried by insects or other organisms, and the carrier of the pathogenic organism is called the vector. So vector is an organism that carries the pathogen from the source of infection to a healthy individual. Itself, it will not get affected. Mosquitoes, houseflies, ticks, mites, and sometimes mammals such as rats and dogs are vectors that can spread dangerous infections. Let us move on to understand vector-borne diseases and the pathogens that these vectors carry. The female Anopheles mosquito carries Plasmodium, which is a protozoan, and it is a pathogen which causes malaria. The effects and symptoms of malaria are periodic fever with chills and the red blood cell count drops. Aedes mosquito is a vector which carries the DENV virus, which is the pathogen responsible for dengue. The effects and symptoms are high fever, hemorrhage, that is internal bleeding, and there is drop in the platelet count. The Aedes mosquito is vector for yellow fever virus, which is a pathogen which causes yellow fever. The symptoms of yellow fever are jaundice, vomiting, and fever. Housefly is a vector that carries entamoeba, which is a protozoan. It is a pathogen responsible for amoebic dysentery. Amoebic dysentery is a disease which causes abdominal pain, pain in the stomach, severe diarrhea, blood, and mucus in the feces. The TCTC fly is a vector which carries trypanosoma pathogen. Trypanosoma is a protozoan that causes sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness causes fever, rash, tiredness. It affects lymph and the nervous system. It causes mental deterioration and there is increased sleeping. Patients with this disease become progressively sleepy and they sleep and sleep and sleep. Eventually, they fail to wake up. This is how patients were observed with sleeping sickness. The Culex mosquito is a vector that carries Wuchereria bancrofti. It is a roundworm or a pathogen which causes filariasis. Filariasis is also called elephantiasis. There is thickening of the skin and swelling in the arms and legs and even in the genitalia. This is because of retention of fluid in the tissues. The rat flea is a vector which carries Yersinia pestis. Yersinia pestis is a bacteria. It is a pathogen that causes plague. The plague disease leads to swollen and painful lymph nodes in the groins, in the neck, or in the armpits. There is sudden fever, chills, and headache. The saliva of infected animals, example dogs, are the vectors for rhabdovirus. Rhabdovirus is a pathogen which causes rabies. When rabies attacks a person, it attacks the nervous system and it leads to mental depression. There are convulsions or fits and spasms, and then there is paralysis.